The only problem in Cameroon is the CPDM. If Cameroonians can successfully remove the CPDM from power, then Cameroon will be okay. And how can they remove the CPDM from power? A party that has been in power for 58 years. When I talk about 58 years, I'm taking from the day Amadou Ahidjo created a one-party system in 1966, the Cameroon National Union. Because it is still that very Cameroon National Union that President Paul Biya changed the name to CPDM in 1985 in Bamenda. And that party has been in power to date. And they are still planning to take over again in 2025. That is why President Paul Biya is doing everything possible to appoint those who are 100% loyal to the CPDM into the election Cameroon Elecam and the Constitutional Council. And there is no way, if he keeps doing this, that any parties in Cameroon can challenge the CPDM, because they are the one organizing election. They are the one appointing members at the polling station. They are the one counting the results, and they are the one declaring the result. And with this, it will be impossible to have free, fair, and transparent election in Cameroon. But with TFA Talking Point, there is a solution. So if this is your first time joining us, please subscribe to our channel and follow us on all our social media platforms. Today, I am calling on all the opposition parties in Cameroon. If truly they are opposition parties, they are not partnering with the CPDM. If they truly are not branches of the CPDM, they have to stand up at this point. I wrote it in this book that I wrote, titled Positive Mentality for the Cameroon We Want. I talk about the rules of the opposition parties for the Cameroon we want. And the first thing there is for the opposition parties to always stand up for the truth and stop condemning. It is not by condemning that they can change something. It is by standing up and saying no to it and see into it, whether it is through violence or it is through which kind of means, to stop the ruling party from maltreating and manipulating election at the detriment or against the will of the people. And one of the issues I am calling the opposition parties in Cameroon to do, particularly the main opposition parties, like the Cameroon Renaissance Movement of Maurice Kanto, the Social Democratic Front of Osei Joshua, and the PRCN of Kabara Libi, with the party, the coalition of Akeremona, that they have to do something. And that thing, something that they have to do is not writing petition and waiting for the government to respond to them, but by joining and calling upon all their militants to march and go to the office of Election Cameroon and stop the nonsense that they are doing. Call on the government and stop Election Cameroon, Elecam. Stop the oppression in Cameroon until they will respect the electoral code. The electoral code is not, first of all, correct. There are a lot of things that need to be changed within the electoral code, but the one that is there now, they should respect it. Meaning they have to sit together with the ruling party. The who onto that, the ruling party must come, the CPDM have to come sit with them, with the opposition party represented in the National Assembly and civil society leaders, so that they all will sit on the table, nominate neutral people within Cameroon who are not members of any political parties. And then they will do it nominated and agreed by all those who will be seated, members of civil society leaders, opposition parties represented in the National Assembly, and the ruling party. All of them will agree on the names of those who will be members of Election Cameroon, names of those who will be members of a Constitutional Council, and then they forward it to the President of the Republic of Cameroon to sign, President Paul Biya, and then announce it to the people of Cameroon. If all these opposition parties stand up, because they have people behind them, more than even the CPDM, but because they are doing little or nothing, and the people do not have their trust, that is why during election the people prefer to take the 2,000 francs, 500 francs, and whatsoever to vote the CPDM. So if you people show to the people that truly you are for them, and they are seeing fruit of you standing and representing them, they will do whatsoever you will ask them to do. They will support you and they will follow you to stop the oppression of Election Cameroon and the Constitutional Council until things are done correctly. The second thing I want the opposition parties to do, that I wrote it here, is that the opposition parties, they have the responsibility to mobilize the population, the common people, to participate in election or political issue in Cameroon that concern them, that will better their lives. And election coming 2025 is one of them. If CPDM remains in power, Cameroonians will remain in frustration, poverty, and hardship. But if opposition parties now start work now today and says they are going to follow up the election, it just gave an announcement that 7+ million Cameroonians register for the upcoming presidential election. If all opposition parties make sure that everybody who register collect his or her voting card, that they will ask the militants in each village, appoint representative, go to any election Cameroon, collect voting card for those in this particular village, take it there and do the distribution. They do it like that because there are thousands of people who will not even have the means to go to election office to collect. And the election will come to villages without even announcing. And many people maybe have gone to their farm and then only returning to hear that election came and nobody came. And they carry those voting cards back. And during election, they will distribute it to the CP, to those who are, they will give 2,000 to them. And they will vote in favor of the CPDM. So opposition parties should make sure that all Cameroonians will receive their voting card. That is another issue that I am talking about. And then calling on this particular message, I am sending it this third point. There are many of them, but I'm going to talk last on this third point because I don't want the video to be too long. The last point is that what I'm calling particularly on Maurice Kanto, the Cameroon Renaissance movement, that he is at this point frustrated and does not have 100% sure whether he will run for the upcoming presidential election because of a mistake that he made. Always allow your militants to run for local election. That is for a council election, regional election, parliamentary election, and senatorial election. The kind of population I saw behind Maurice Kanto in 2018, if Maurice Kanto maybe was wise enough to allow his militants to run for a local election, Maurice Kanto could have been having at least 50 parliamentarians and maybe 20 senators in the National Assembly. And these people join with other opposition parties, and only the kind of vibration these people usually have, they could have turned upside down the plan of the CPDM within the National Assembly. So I am calling, it is your duty and your right to be represented where you can speak and people will listen to. If you stay outside and you are complaining, it means nothing. Whether you vibrate, they will do the voting inside the National Assembly. So I am pleading with the opposition parties to talk and do something. There are many points here that I wrote concerning the rules of the opposition party for the betterment of Cameroon, for the Cameroon that we want. But this one, I want them to do it now in order to stop the oppression of the CPDM and the ELECAM members that they appointed, all CPDM militants. They have to do it and do it now. Not condemning, not writing petition, and not just talking, but taking action. That is what TFA Talking Point is holding on to. TFA Talking Point is all about proposing lasting solution. And what we want you to do for us is to share this video so that it can reach those that can do something. Thank you for listening.